very good evening and thank you for joining us on the news on NTA International. I am Ifoma Ojinta. But first, the highlights. President Muhammadu Buhari urges state governments to complement his administration's genuine efforts at tackling acts of criminality. National Youth Service Corps poised to enhance its farms and garment factories' productivity for optimum service.
So that the Nigerian textiles, they take off once again, as they were in the previous decades.
Nigeria and Pakistan sign new trade policy towards reviving textile industries in the country. And now the news in details. A 60-bed ultra-modern reference hospital constructed by the Nigerian Air Force to provide tertiary health care for its personnel and their families, as well as the host community, has been inaugurated in Daura, Katsina State. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, challenged the service to ensure that the facility serves as center for medical research towards finding solutions to public health concerns in the country. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged state governments to take more proactive measures in securing the lives and property of their people. This, he said, is necessary towards complementing his administration's genuine efforts at tackling acts of criminality for peace and prosperity. The president said this at an audience with the governors of Kano, Katsina and Zamfara states in Daura. State House correspondent Damusambo reports that the president also inaugurated more road projects executed by the Masari administration. The Nigerian Army has denied the report in some quarters, stating that its troop of 9 brigade on patrol were involved in the killing of 3 people in Isheri Olofin community of Kosofe local government area of Lagos State. A statement by the Assistant Director, Army Public Relations 9 Brigade, Major Clement Abaide, urged members of the public to disregard the news indicating the so-called killing of 3 people in the area, adding that the news is baseless and is therefore fake. The statement explained that the Army patrol team only responded to a distress call and averted clash among Isheri boys cult group, allegedly terrorizing the community. He said there was no fire exchange between the troops and the alleged cult group throughout the period of the troops' intervention, and no one was killed as alleged in misleading report. Instead, 1 soldier was injured by cultists. Peace has since been restored to the affected area. The Operation Well Struck says it has recovered not less than 2,000 Russell cows and arrested 10 suspects for armed banditry, kidnapping and arms manufacturing. Commander of the operation, Major General Adeyemi Yekini, said that the suspects were arrested in Benue and Nasarawa states. Charles Abba reports.
Operation Well Struck has continued to fight armed banditry, kidnapping and other criminal activities in Benue, Nasarawa and Taraba states to instill peace and tranquility. Commander of Operation Well Struck, Major General Adeyemi Yekini, explained that the latest operation embarked upon by the command led to the clampdown of the suspected armed bandits and kidnappers from Benue and Nasarawa states.
Enough is enough. We will not tolerate banditry. We will not tolerate kidnapping. We will not tolerate other acts of extortion and criminalities in the Benue State in particular, but not just Benue State, but also Nasarawa and Taraba states.
And recovered 1 AK-47 and 1 self-operational rifle, 3 locally made pistols, 4 locally made guns and ammunition.
The 5 are from Benue State and the 5 from Nasarawa State, but 1 was shot dead by troops during exchange of fire at Zakibian.
Major General Yekini, who attributed the success of the operation to information from members of the public, assured the people of the command's determination to reduce crime to its barest minimum. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Still on security matters, leaders of Miyetti Allah and Northern Community in Enugu State have commenced sensitization of their members on the need to work with the state government and security agencies in fishing out criminal elements in their midst to continue to enjoy the peaceful atmosphere prevalent in the state. Jude Abugu monitored the exercise and reports that the sensitization team visited some markets within and outside the metropolis.
The team, comprising leaders of Miyetti Allah, Northern Community, and leaders of various markets where Northerners carry out their businesses, kicked off the sensitization exercise at Akwata Perishable Goods Market. They were received by the traders who complied fully with the directive of closing their businesses for the crucial security sensitization. The team also visited New Artisan Cattle Market and Oknano Cattle Market, where they reminded the traders how they have been coexisting peacefully with the people of Enugu State over the years.
Whoever that will cause breach of the security in Enugu State will be exposed, inshallah.
At Gariki Ugwaba Market, where the team terminated activities for the day, the excited traders were motivated to hear that the efforts of their members in ensuring that the state is secure and peaceful are already yielding positive results.
Because of this sensitization movement, from yesterday that this announcement is going and this morning, we've achieved success. We've arrested 4 persons and hand over to various security agencies.
They assured their leaders of their cooperation as they work towards devising means of identifying every trader that transacts business in their various domains. The security sensitization train will now move to various Fulani settlements in the state to continue with its message of vigilance and security consciousness. In Enugu, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
In democracies, the business of governance is the collective responsibility of all arms of government. This presupposes the resolve of the 9th Senate to support the federal government through the enactment of laws that will further strengthen the workings of government. Senate President Ahmed Lawal gave this assurance at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport when he returned from the Holy Pilgrimage. Ignatius Unko reports.
President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan was in Saudi Arabia for the Holy Pilgrimage. It was 10 days of prayers and supplication for the unity and progress of Nigeria. Upon his return at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, in the early hours of Thursday, he re-emphasized the need for national unity, which was his major prayer point.
We prayed for our country to achieve optimum security, to have unity, to have stability, peace, and of course progress.
Senator Lawan seized the opportunity to reaffirm the commitment of the 9th Senate in making sure that Nigeria returns to January to December budget cycle for a more impactful fiscal policy.
It is our prayer and hope that this National Assembly will be a National Assembly that will continue to work for Nigerians for the benefit of those who voted for us. I want to take this opportunity to appeal to the executive side of government that we need to reverse the undesirable trend of the current budget cycle in Nigeria.
He explained that with the recent constitution of parliamentary committees, the 9th National Assembly is now more prepared to work for Nigerians. In Abuja, Ignatius Unko, NTA News.
The National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, is working towards enhancing the productivity of its farms and garment factories to produce the quantity required by the scheme and even have surplus. Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim, said this at a media parley with editors and bureau chiefs of media establishments in Abuja. Olainka Ojo reports that from 2019 batch, date of birth will be on discharge certificates.
Latest data from the NYSC shows that since the establishment of the scheme 6 years ago, 4,644,804 youths have participated in the national call to service. This number excludes those exempted on age or other reasons for exclusion. Now, The 18th Director General of the NYSC is planning to consolidate on the gains of the scheme and is seeking media partnership to drive the entrepreneurial skills components being implemented in line with global dictates. This media parley is setting the tone for what and where the NYSC want to be.
We are working vigorously to ensure that our ventures, especially farms and garment factories, are more functional and able to produce reasonable quantities of products needed by the scheme.
It was not a one-way traffic, however, as media chiefs probed provisions of security and welfare of corps members, as well as the enrollment of unqualified persons for mobilization by some corps-producing institutions, age falsification, among other challenges.
Issue of fake corps members, beyond arrest and prosecution, what measures do we take?
NYSC is not a regulatory body, but however the Act gave us the powers not to mobilize unqualified Nigerians. And I say the NYSC under my watch will never mobilize any unqualified Nigerians because they are not doing Nigeria any good.
Other issues the NYSC says it will deal with are presentation of fake medical papers for redeployment and relocation, which will now be treated strictly based on marital, health, and security grounds. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Now, only about 3 years after Nigerians reportedly lost 18 billion naira to the MMM scam, Ponzi schemes are again on the rise in the country. Discussing these on Good Morning Nigeria today, Nigerians were again cautioned to be wary of get-rich schemes under any guise, while regulatory agencies were urged to increase their surveillance and enforcement of relevant laws. Ekemini Williams has more details.
It is widely held that Nigerians cannot forget in a hurry the MMM Ponzi scheme scam after the 2016 catastrophe in which thousands of people lost over 18 billion naira.
Some of them are offering you 100% return of your money in 1 month. I mean, even armed robbery couldn't be as lucrative as Ponzi scheme are positive returns.
There are therefore apprehensions over the resurface of another form of Ponzi scheme, loom money. This, many believe, will endanger the financial investment market and affect gullible Nigerians with a get-rich-quick mentality.
And when at that formative age, you believe in miracle. So process leaves you. So you begin at every point in time, when someone tells you something, adding with the fact that you also believe in miracles and you don't believe in process. So that miracle mindset will allow you invest in something that would give you that big break without a process.
For others, the way out include expanding the investment space and enhancing institutional capacity to monitor and enhance existing laws.
There has to be proper education, but more importantly, I keep emphasizing, we need to strengthen our regulatory framework.
Project development and your financial engineering model. This is where we always have a big issue. Everybody talks about access to finance. So that means we have to get our venture capital system to start working in Nigeria, whether government or private sector.
When anybody calls you to invest money, check whether that person is registered by SEC.
There was also a call for the review of school curriculum to create awareness on the due process of wealth creation. Majority of viewers who contributed to the program through tweets condemned the resurgence of Ponzi schemes in the country. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Nigeria and Pakistan have worked out new trade policy towards reviving textile industries in the country. Joshua Ojito reports that the policy is also to increase volume of trade between the two nations.
Nigeria and Pakistan have for long enjoyed bilateral ties, especially in areas of military cooperation and recently counter-terrorism. Now, the two countries are working to improve their economies with a new trade policy that will see Pakistan supplying local textile industries with raw materials for production to support federal government's drive to promote made-in-Nigeria goods.
Nigerian policies of the President Buhari are that they don't want to encourage import of finished goods. So what we are going to focus on is to provide the raw materials so that the Nigerian textiles, they take off once again as they were in the previous decades.
A forum such as this to celebrate the 72nd independence anniversary of Pakistan has provided another platform for the two countries to renew commitment to implementation of the trade agreement.
Nigeria is always open to initiatives such as this and is open to training in the sciences. We acknowledge Pakistan's cooperation in international fora and hope to continue our shared support for one another.
Both countries were former British colonies and share many things in common. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja. Time to take a short break. We shall be back with more news in a moment.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Go to so let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogerula. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
Thank you for being there. We now have the report from Adamu Sambo on a 60-bed ultra-modern reference hospital constructed by the Nigerian Air Force. Remember, we told you that President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, challenged the service to ensure that the facility serves as center for medical research towards finding solutions to public health concerns in the country.
The Nigerian Air Force Reference Hospital, Daura, is equipped with state-of-the-art facilities, including, amongst others, 2 operating theaters, intensive care unit, as well as modern diagnostic life support and surgical equipment ideal for the care of critically ill patients and soldiers wounded in the battlefields. President Muhammadu Buhari applauded the Chief of the Air Staff for the laudable project, which he said will contribute significantly to the health and well-being of the people of Daura across Katsina and the neighboring states. The project, the president said, is in furtherance of the remarkable strides by the Nigerian Air Force to reposition itself not only into a professional and disciplined force, but also live up to its social responsibility to the citizens.
We are indeed most grateful to the Chief of Air Staff for finding Daura worthy of this gesture. I want to assure you of our support and commitment in ensuring that the hospital becomes fully functional and accessible to all Nigerians.
President Buhari is delighted that the facility is most importantly poised to provide the much-needed trauma care for personnel on active duty in various theaters of operation. This, he said, will go a long way towards boosting their morale in the course of service to the country.
I urge you to maintain the highest standard and quality of services the military is known for in attending to the patients and the host community.
Indeed, Your Excellency deserves to be appreciated for the facilitation of an unprecedented infrastructural development, equipment induction, platforms acquisition, and logistic provisions in support of the armed forces of Nigeria.
Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, said the NAF Reference Hospital will complement the services of existing government health institutions in providing medical care to those in need and supporting national healthcare delivery.
May I assure His Excellency that the Nigerian Air Force will remain resolute in ensuring the return of normalcy to troubled areas across the country, working hand in hand with other sister services.
at the event attended by the governors of Katsina, Kano and Zamfara states, as well as all the service chiefs, Air Marshal Abubakar appreciated President Buhari for his steadfastness at ensuring that the Nigerian Air Force is better positioned to fulfill its statutory responsibilities. From Daura, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyeyemi, has expressed satisfaction over the activities of officers and men of the Corps during the Eid el-Kabir celebration, saying it was quite successful. The Corps Marshal said this at the strategy session with Corps High Command on Ember Month campaign. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
Days after the Eid el-Kabir celebration, which saw most officers of the Federal Road Safety Corps at different points and locations, all in the bid to ensure safety on the highways, the Corps Marshal is setting the agenda and plans for Ember period that spans through September to December.
I think our session is to look at conducting another road safety impact assessment.
To tackle headlong is the imposition of speed limiting device in all commercial vehicles, which the Corps Marshal says will reduce overspeeding and accidents on Nigerian roads. The Corps Marshal was emphatic on the no going back on the September 2nd deadline given to tricycles and motorcycle riders to get their number plates, as these will go a long way in reducing crimes in the country.
From the word go, it's an act of lawlessness to put a motorcycle or tricycle on the highway without being registered. That is what we call road tax evasion. The law is very clear. What we are doing, ideally, we ought not to even serve any notice. We're supposed to go on full blast arrest, but again, looking at the present social, economics, and security situations in the country, we need to really reawaken the need for the road users to do what is expected.
The Corps Marshal reiterated the need for construction workers working along the highways and roads to comply with road signs erections. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
As India celebrates Independence Day anniversary, Prime Minister Narendra Modi says decision to strip Kashmir of its special status will restore the region to its past glory. Details of this and more with Obiageli Ugoke.
Hello and thanks for joining us. The World Health Organization says Burundi has commenced the vaccination of its health workers against Ebola. Those at the Gatumba border near the Democratic Republic of Congo, where a year-long Ebola epidemic has killed at least 1,800 people, are the first in line for the vaccination, overseen by the World Health Organization and Burundi's Health Ministry. Burundi has not recorded any case of Ebola so far, but the whole region is on high alert. In another development, the former head of the Sudanese intelligence service, Salah Ghosh, has been banned from entering the United States because of his alleged involvement in human rights violations. In a statement, the U.S. State Department said it had credible evidence that Mr. Ghosh was involved in torture when he was in charge of Sudan's National Intelligence and Security Services. Members of his family have also been barred. And the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered an Independence Day speech on Thursday that spotlighted the decision to remove the special rights of the disputed Himalayan region of Kashmir among the bold moves of the first 10 weeks of his second term. Modi talked about his aim to turn India into a $5 trillion economy within 5 years by spurring wealth creation, boosting exports and tourism. And that's the package. I'm Obiageli Ugoke. Many thanks for your time.
Thank you, Obiageli. And now sports. Nigeria cruised into semi